Hey everyone, this is David Keil, answering this month's question of the month. Of course, if you've got one, just go to yoganatomy.com/myquestion and I'll answer it for you. This one comes from Saraswathy. I feel my arms are too short and I'm therefore unable to bind in Marichyasana D, Supta Kurmasana and Pindasana. I'm able to do Mari A, B, and C, also Ardha Padma Padottanasana, as well as Baddha Padmasana. The last two, if I'm helped, I am helped by my long legs. What advice do you have for me? Based on what you've written, and not seeing whether your arms just feel short or they actually are short. Also, not necessarily knowing the technique that you are specifically applying to your Marichyasana D and your Supta Kurmasana. But usually, if you can bind in a Marichyasana B, you can bind in a Marichyasana D, because you're also able to bind in C. So the twisting is probably there. Technique-wise, of course, it's Marichyasana D is the hardest. I mean, my tight side, it probably took me 2.5, 3 years from the time I started to bind that on my own. Forget grabbing my wrist. It took me a while. So anyway, sorry. And the other thing you mentioned is Pindasana. So I'll give you a quick tip in Pindasana, and this will also help you determine whether or not your arms are too short, potentially, or at least be a piece of it. Okay, so in Pindasana, what I often see is most people try to bind around their knees. In other words, out here on the ends of their knees. Try sliding your arm down a little bit more towards your thigh and see if that helps you get Pindasana. Okay, instead of trying to go around the widest area, go around the narrowest. In terms of Marichyasana D, the single most important piece, I'm going to assume your lotus is okay. You can sit up more or less tall and hold yourself up based on those assumptions. You then have to get your armpit to your bent knee. Armpit to knee. Before you try to bind, turn, wrap your hand around, or anything. And in these types, and that's also true in Supta Kurmasana, you have to really drop that shoulder. And again, if you're crossing your legs first in Supta Kurmasana, remember those knees have a tendency to fall out and make for a wider range that you have to wrap your arms around. So it's not that your knees aren't going to fall out, but depending on where you're trying to lift your arms up to, you want to be closer to your bottom, closer to your buttocks. Okay, because that's less distance required to wrap around. Okay, so Mari D, armpit to knee. Supta Kurmasana, don't try to bring your arm really up, really high on your back when you go to bind. Think lower, and you can even, after you've crossed your feet, depending on how you're getting into it, which I don't know, but I'm just going to guess you're crossing your feet first, is to engage your adductor so your knees squeeze in a little bit extra before you try to wrap arm number 1 around and arm number 2 around. Okay? Pindasana, go below the knee, go more towards the thigh. Hey, if you're watching this, Saraswathy, try these things and either put a comment in the video down below or send me another email. Okay? All right, everyone. Saraswathy, I hope that helped. Everyone else, you got a question? I will do my best to answer it here by going to yoganatomy.com/myquestion.